Let's begin with our sustained campaign on Dwarka Expressway. This is a big win for us at Magicbricks Now and for those residents and home buyers who bought homes along the Dwarka Expressway or the periphery road. There was a commitment that we got from Central Minister Nitin Gadkari, the Minister of Transport and Highways, who committed to us at Magicbricks Now that work on the road, which has been delayed for 8 years, will begin in the next 4 months. It's a huge relief for the 70,000 residents who might call Dwarka Expressway their homes. Now, I want to remind our viewers that these people bought homes for alongside a road that was planned 8 years ago. The homes are ready to occupy, but they can't occupy those homes because there's no road leading up to those homes. There's no water, there's no electricity, there's no sewage piping, because all of that comes alongside the road that you're looking at on your screen. Now, this comes as a result of a relentless campaign that we've been running here on this channel along with residents. 4 months ago, we heard from residents who wrote to us in April saying that they're struggling because of the lack of this road. We then started getting in touch with various agencies of the government, and Nitin Gadkari now issuing us a big relief, acknowledging our campaign on the ground. Here's a special report.
They have been waiting for the Dwarka Expressway for the past 8 years. Staging dharnas at Jantar Mantar, online protests on Twitter and Facebook, and knocking on several doors to get the defunct project started. Among these protesters are senior citizens, middle-class families, and retired army jawans who were once fighting on the borders. And now they are left fighting for roads and basic amenities. Let's give you a quick insight of our campaign, which began 4 months earlier. These residents reached out to us in April 2016, and since then, Magicbricks Now consistently reached out to the government authorities to get answers. Our campaign first bore fruit on 4th of May. Finally, Dwarka Expressway was notified. To expedite work on ground, we reached out to NHAI Chief Raghav Chandra, who committed to Magicbricks Now that work will begin within few months. And then our big win this month. Transport and Highway Minister Nitin Gadkari commits to Magicbricks Now. Action will begin on ground within 4 months.
Dwarka Expressway, which your ministry has notified as a national highway. Could you tell us what the status is right now? Because after the notification, there is still about 1.5 kilometers that needs to be completed. People are waiting for the last 8 years for that road.
वो जो रोड मुझे मिला है, जैसे मरी गाय बम्बन को दान होता है, वैसे हरियाणा के चीफ मिनिस्टर ने मुझे दिया है, क्योंकि वहाँ बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स थे। पर 10 दिन पहले मेरे यहाँ मीटिंग हुई और मीटिंग होने के बाद उसके प्रॉब्लम को हमने सॉल्व किया है। डीडीए के चेयरमैन गोयल भी थे, हमारे भी अधिकारी थे, और मुझे लगता है कि एक लैंड एक्विजिशन का काम हमने शुरू किया है, कॉम्पेंसेशन दे रहे हैं, और उसके कारण गुड़गांव से जो द्वारका एक्सप्रेस है, मुझे दिल्ली का जागरूक भी ज़्यादा मालूम नहीं, कागज़ पर मालूम है। ये जल्दी अभी एक 3 महीने में, उसका 4 महीने में काम शुरू हो जाएगा, और ये हाईवे बनने से ये जो धौला कुआं वाला जो गुड़गांव का रोड है, उसका ट्रैफिक कम होगा और इसका काम शुरू हो जाएगा।
Cynical residents have welcomed this big announcement, but they say they will be convinced only once work actually begins on ground. It remains to be seen if Nitin Gadkari, famous as Maharashtra's flyover Mantri, will be able to work his magic in Delhi. Bureau Report, Magicbricks Now.
And after that comment and that commitment there from the Transport and Highway Minister, we caught up with residents who've been waiting with bated breath for the project to begin. Deepa Rana sent us this report from the ground.
I have with me the buyers of Dwarka Expressway Welfare Association who've been fighting this battle with various authorities for over 8 years now. It was back in 2007 that the government first time made an announcement for Dwarka Expressway. Very recently in March, the National Highways Union Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari announced it as a national highway in an investor summit. Now, though the authorities have taken an initial step to build Dwarka Expressway, they are still very far from it to be completed. I have with me the buyers. We are going to speak to them. Yashesh ji, 8 साल से आप लोग द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे की कंप्लीशन के लिए लड़ रहे हैं, उसकी कंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए लड़ रहे हैं। आज तक अभी आपने क्या-क्या अथॉरिटी से बात की है, कि कहाँ तक पहुँचा है?
हम मौके पे जाके देखते हैं, रोड पे वहाँ कुछ भी नहीं है, कोई भी तैयारी नहीं है कि 2017 से जून 17 से पहले रोड बन के तैयार हो जाएगा। हाँ, हमारे प्रोटेस्ट से, हमारी भागदौड़ से जरूर 1-2 छोटे मोटे हर्डल हटे हैं। एक छोटी सी फैक्ट्री थी, वो एक फैक्ट्री हटी है, बाकी अभी भी स्थिति जैसी की तैसी है, कहीं भी कुछ नहीं हो रहा है।
First issue is that Delhi side connectivity. Okay. 2-3 months back there was a, the discussion was going ki whether it will be 75 meters or 150 meters. Still there is no clear confirmation ki how Delhi side connectivity is going to happen. The second is that we all know the Palam Bihar land litigation issues, okay, which is of course Huda is claiming to resolve it by 24th, but still no confirmation. Third is there are a lot of flyover has to be built across the Dwarka Expressway, because we are saying this is one of the very high ambitious the road. So for this, like a flyover where Daulatabad, sector 102, okay, and then Patodi road crossings are there. So these are the bigger intersections. There huge level of the traffic movement will happen. Then next issue is that railway crossing. Railway crossing, the flyover is being made by the Huda and all, okay, but still some part need to be developed by the railway. There still the work is not in a good pace. Okay.
Over 70,000 families have bought the houses, dream houses, in the need of living over there. Now they are into big trouble because they are paying EMIs, they are paying rent, authorities are not ready to hear anything, builders are not supporting, builders are not doing any work because the roads are not there. It is very important to build this road as early as possible so that people can start living over there. Road is just first step. There are many other steps which are to be taken.
We have been getting several dates from the government for the completion of Dwarka Expressway, but yet as a buyer we are not confident that those timelines would be met, because at least 5 or 6 times those light has been crossed and the Dwarka Expressway has not been completed. Apart from completion of Dwarka Expressway, it is very important to develop the basic amenities, like we do not have water connections. The water is being given to the societies through tankers, water tankers. We do not have proper electricity. Electricity in the society is arranged through diesel generators.
Now, the Dwarka Expressway, which has been stuck for over 8 years now, as per what we are hearing from the people, there are some glaring issues which still stand true in the process, in the progress of Dwarka Expressway. But till now, we are hoping that the authorities are going to wake up and they are going to complete the work of Dwarka Expressway in the nearest time and not just give us promises and deadlines which they are not going to meet. Once the Dwarka Expressway is completed, the people, over 70,000 families are going to get a road to their home, and also around 97,000 units is going to be released in the Dwarka as well as Gurgaon region, which is announced by various developers. Over 150 developers had announced various projects which are going to come up in the Gurgaon region. It will not only add value but will also decongest traffic once this road is made. This is Deepa Rana reporting for Magicbricks Now in Gurgaon.
Well, tonight on the Urban Debate, the question we're asking is, will 70,000 home buyers finally get a road to their home? Join us, hashtag Dwarka Expressway on Twitter if you want to. Our phone lines will also be open. On the show with me tonight, Navin Raheja, Chairman Managing Director, Raheja Developers, Prerna Singh of the Congress, Raman Malik BJP Spokesperson in Haryana, Ramesh Menon Director of Realty, and home buyers who have been suffering and battling for Dwarka Expressway, Yashesh Yadav and Prem Talwar. Yashesh Yadav and Prem Talwar, I'm going to start with you. You're going to be on our screen fairly quickly. I want to ask you this. This has been a long battle for you for the road to Dwarka Expressway. Now that we're hearing from the government that we will get a road now, or the work on the road will begin in the next 4 months, are you hopeful that you'll finally get a road to your home? Are there other issues that you need fixed in your attempt to get Dwarka Expressway as a project complete?
देखिए, मैं बताना चाहता हूँ, तकरीबन 2009 में मैंने फ्लैट खरीदा था द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे पे, ये देख के, मास्टर प्लानिंग देख के कि इसके फ्यूचर काफी अच्छा होने वाला है। पर आज मैं 2016 में देख रहा हूँ, ना तो वहाँ पे रोड है, ना पानी है, ना बिजली है, ना बेसिक एमिनिटीज है, जिसको देख के मैंने वहाँ पे फ्लैट लिया था। अब मैं देखता हूँ वहां जाके, तो वहां पे मुझे धूल मिट्टी उड़ती दिखती है, मुझे वहां पे कोई पानी का साधन नजर नहीं आता, मुझे वहां कोई सीवरेज सिस्टम नजर नहीं आता। मैं क्या करूं? बिल्डर मेरे को फ्लैट देने को तैयार है, लेकिन मैं ले नहीं सकता। मैं घर अपने कैसे जाऊंगा? मुझे बेसिक एमिनिटीज कब मिलेगी? बिजली पानी कब मिलेगा? मुझे रोड कब मिलेगा? तो मैं चाहता हूं कि सरकार इस तरफ जल्दी से जल्दी ध्यान दे। जो पहले 8 साल डिले हो चुका है, जो 2010 में कॉमनवेल्थ से पहले बन के तैयार हो जाना चाहिए था, वही देख के लोगों ने यहाँ पे इन्वेस्ट किया है। मेरे जैसे 70,000 और लोग फंसे हुए हैं, जिन्होंने देख के लिया था कि यहाँ पे गुड़गांव की लाइफलाइन है, इस पे मेट्रो आने वाली है। आगे इस पे वर्ल्ड क्लास एमिनिटीज आने वाली है, लेकिन आज 8 साल के बाद गवर्नमेंट ने हमें क्या दिया? हमने सारे टैक्सेस पे किए हैं, हम इनकम टैक्स दे रहे हैं, उसके बाद सरकार हमारे लिए क्या कर रही है?
तो यशेश यादव जी, आप बताइए, आपने कौन सी बिल्डर से घर लिया और वो क्या घर अभी रेडी है? आप मूव इन कर सकते हो अभी?
मूव इन मैंने तकरीबन थोड़े टाइम पहले कर लिया था मूव इन, बट मूव इन करने के बाद मैं देखता हूँ बाहर तो रोड है ही नहीं। आज टैंकर से पानी आ रहा है, बिजली डीजी पे चल रही है, 24 आवर डीजी चल रहा है, जो एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली नहीं है। पानी टैंकर से आ रहा है, अगर कोई हादसा हो जाता है टैंकर के पानी में बाहर से क्या पानी आ रहा है, कैसा पानी आ रहा है, वो हमें नहीं पता। अगर कल को कोई हादसा हो जाता है उसकी जिम्मेदारी कौन लेगा? बिल्डर लेगा या गवर्नमेंट लेगी?
ये तो सही बात है। और ये बताइए यशेश यादव जी, नितिन गडकरी जी ने बताया कि 4 महीने में द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे रास्ते पे काम शुरू हो जाएगा। ये आपको सुन के कैसा लगा?
मुझे सुनने में अच्छा लगा। आज से तकरीबन फरवरी में सीएम साहब ने एक अनाउंसमेंट किया था कि जून 2017 में हम ये रोड पूरा कर देंगे। उसके बाद मैंने रोड पे जाके देखा, वहां कोई मूवमेंट अगले 2-3 महीने तक नहीं रही। उसके बाद थोड़ा हमने भागदौड़ किया, तो उसके बाद हमें सुनने में आया कि ये NHAI को दे दिया जाएगा। उसके बाद भी कोई मूवमेंट मुझे नजर नहीं आई। और बात जैसा अभी कह रहे हैं नितिन साहब ने जैसे अनाउंस किया है, बट मुझे ग्राउंड पे काम नजर नहीं आ रहा है। वहां पे मुझे कोई मूवमेंट नजर नहीं आ रही जिससे कि ये डेडलाइन अचीव हो सकती है। अगर मैं ग्राउंड पे जाके देखता हूँ, अगर वहां मूवमेंट होते, कंस्ट्रक्शन इक्विपमेंट होते हैं, वहां लोग काम कर रहे होते, तो मैं मान सकता हूँ कि हाँ वहां पे जल्दी डेडलाइन अचीव कर ली जाएगी। लेकिन मुझे वहां पे कुछ नजर नहीं आता है ग्राउंड पे।
यादव जी, आपको बतानी चाहती हूँ कि ये जो काम की उम्मीद रखते हैं आप, काम एक्चुअली हाईवे बनाने में ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगता। जो टाइम लग रहा है गवर्नमेंट को वो लैंड एक्विजिशन में, जो लैंड एक्वायर करके फिर उस पर जो हाईवे बनानी है उसमें टाइम लग रही है। रमन मलिक जी,
उसमें भी मुझे 1-2 डाउट हैं। अभी जो पीछे अलॉट हुए हैं प्लॉट, उनमें भी अभी पूरी तरह से क्लियरिटी नहीं है। अभी हुड्डा ने प्लॉट अलॉट किए हैं, उनके पास जहां पे प्लॉट देना है वहां पे लैंड है या नहीं है, उसमें अभी तक कोई क्लियरिटी नहीं है हमारे पास।
Raman Malik, if you can give us some clarity right now on the land acquisition that's on the Haryana side, which Huda is looking after at this point, and if you can give us some comfort right now on what's being done to expedite that process of land acquisition, और ये कब तक complete होगा और लोगों को अपना रास्ता कब तक मिल जाएगा?
Okay, let me take this opportunity, and it's a very important issue which we must look at. And I would like to take this opportunity to give you a perspective of the entire thing, because being into real estate also and a realtor, I know the game very well, and I have seen whatever has happened and what the problems are, and probably a little better than a lot of other people. Now we must understand that where is the problem? The problem started when the master planning was done not for the convenience of people but for the convenience of pockets, and there the whole game began. The initial plan, as per my information and my seeing, being a realtor even at that time, was that the NPR and the SPR would connect to would be aligned, and it would create a perfect U, so that the entire belt ranging from let's say the Faridabad Gurgaon road, one could go from Faridabad directly to the Dunda Heda. So that was the whole idea, to develop everything. But then things began to change, and today the variation in the alignment of NPR and SPR is over 1.5 kilometers. Now, if we go further to that and start looking at things, where are we standing? As of today, after the court cases and the judgment by the Honorable Court, the deliverance and allotment, one lot is already done. The second lot, maybe the allotments may happen on the 24th, if I am not wrong. And that is what the Huda administrator told me. I had just spoken to him a few minutes back. Now, further coming over from there are certain portions which have been cleared. Out of the 18 odd kilometers, 14 was earlier completed. There are 2 kilometers which is work under progress already. There are 2 kilometers because of the problem with that is that the court has given 6 months of extension or 6 months of grace period for people who have already have houses constructed in the land which is being supposed to be acquired. So even after when we give them the land, we still have to have at least 6 months more before they hand over us the properties. Now that is the current scenario, and we are totally committed to this, that this menace that we have received as a gracious gift should be not gone into the case of whether it was cat or the mouse or whether it was the hen or the egg. But
when you say gracious gift, Raman Malik, are you blaming the previous government?
Suffering because of this.
Raman Malik, when you say this gracious gift that you have received,
I am 100% blaming the previous government. I am 100% saying, and I'm saying it with full responsibility because I know the trade. There is a 15,000 crore rupees EDC gambit which has been there. The clauses which were formulated in giving the license and payment of EDC, which the developers are collecting from the house owners, should have been deposited directly to the government. What are they doing in keeping it with themselves and giving it over to the developer at a minimal interest when they are paying 25% interest when they pick out money from the PE funds? So this is also one part of the game that was played at that tenure. And nobody looks at it.
Who are you saying?
So,
the EDC money, Raman Malik. The EDC money, to explain to my viewers, this is the external development charge that was collected from each and every home buyer, 70,000 home buyers. And the two gentlemen on our show, Yashesh, Yadav and Prem Talwar, will tell us that they've also paid an EDC amount. This amount was meant to be deposited with the government. And the government was meant to use the money to build the road, to put in sewage lines, to put in electricity lines, to put in water lines, none of which have materialized. The developers tell us that they have deposited the money with the government. Huda now turns around and tells us they have no track of this money. Where is the money, Raman Malik? Where is the money?
No, listen. First, listen to me. Before you start asking me questions and where is the money, first listen to me what has happened. Now, a few days back, our finance minister came on record, gave an interview that almost around 15,000 crore rupees are with the developers and they have not yet paid. And they say that they are in dire situations, they cannot pay, and we would have to restructure that amount. So that is another liability that we have to keep on our heads. So the state government is not taking that as an alibi of not developing things, but the fact of the matter remains that every bit of comfort was given to developers by the previous regime, and everything was done in their favor. Now I want to understand that this money which was supposed to be of the people, for the people, why was it given at a laxity to a developer? A developer needs to invest money to earn profit. Now if the developer can pay that money in bits and chunks whenever he wants to at a discretion which is of 6 years or 5 years, then why can't the people who are the plot owners or the house owners can pay the same in that way? Why does the developer starts fleecing that money right away?
First point, Raman Malik, that all home buyers also make staggered payments.
Dirty games were played.
Home buyers also make staggered payments, but Navin Raheja joins us on the show right now. Navin Raheja, we're talking about the EDC.
Not defined from
Navin Raheja is here.
If you Google it, listen. I will tell you a very interesting. Bit. If you Google it right now on Wikipedia about NPR, you will find out that Mr. Navin Raheja's name is also there as a person who may have influenced the realignment.
Mr. Navin Raheja, do you want to respond to that? Two allegations are being made.
Please Google it now.
I'm so sorry to say that realignment, how can the realignment be done by a single person?
It is not me, it is Wikipedia giving your name.
The road is coming straight from NH8 and I don't know. This is a news to me which is being said, The question is not this. I think the question is about how to
I have a screenshot. If you want, I can send it to you.
How to make Dwarka Expressway operational. No, I think the question is that
Navin Raheja, the question also is Navin Raheja,
as possible.
Let me reiterate the question to our entire panel. The Transport and Highways Union Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, gave Magicbricks Now an assurance on Friday that the work on Dwarka Expressway, on the actual highway, will begin in exactly 4 months. And he said, when I give my word on a date, I give my word on the date. I promise you it will happen in 4 months. But there are several other problems with Dwarka Expressway. One of the problems is that there's no electricity, there's no water, there's no sewage. There are no amenities that are being provided, amenities that people have paid for. So like the two buyers who are on our show right now, and I want to go to Prem Talwar. Prem Talwar ji, आपने अपने घर के सारे पैसे भर दिए अभी तक. क्या आप द्वारका एक्सप्रेस क्या आप द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे में रह रहे हो? आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या है? आपको क्या चाहिए अभी?
नहीं रहने को तो अभी हुआ ही नहीं है. अभी पैसे दे दिए हैं, 3 साल हो गए हैं. जहाँ पहले थे अभी वही है. ना सड़क है, ना कुछ है, पानी नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. मैं तो रिटायरमेंट के पैसे भी लगा के बैठा हुआ हूँ.
So the question is, where will these amenities come from? Water, electricity, sewage, where will it come from? Navin Raheja.
This is to come from Huda. This will not come from NHAI. Let me clear one thing, Water, electricity and internal 24-meter roads, they have to come from Huda. They are not to come from NHAI. So these things, actually, if you look into the things, there are certain pockets still under litigation, and the right of way to get the water lines is not there, and water lines are stopped in between. We as developers are trying to negotiate with farmers now. With farmers, please let your litigation be there. We cannot wait for our customers. So we are negotiating with farmers a right of way for water lines from Huda.
Okay.
Because in any case their land does not get disturbed if the water line is laid 10 feet down underground.
Navin Raheja, have all the developers made their payments of the EDC to Huda? Have all developers made payments of the EDC to Huda?
Forget all. I would just like to know, has Raheja Developers made all payments?
When my company goes, we paid in 2009 the entire payments.
ऐसे बाहर मैं भी कुछ पूछना चाहता हूँ एक बार.
एक मिनट, one at a time.
We paid in 2000 EDC in 2009 itself.
You've made all the payments in 2009. ठीक है, यशेश यादव, आप पूछिए, आपको क्या पूछना है?
मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ, हमने EDC IDC बिल्डर को दी, बिल्डर ने आगे गवर्नमेंट को दी. हमने रजिस्ट्रेशन चार्जेस गवर्नमेंट को दिया 7% के हिसाब से. हमने जो फ्लैट के वैल्यूएशन 7% हमने गवर्नमेंट को दिया है. हमने EDC IDC बिल्डर को दिया है. हमें नहीं पता, हमें तो बेसिक कम्युनिटी चाहिए, चाहे हमें बिल्डर दे चाहे हमें गवर्नमेंट दे, हमें बेसिकली चाहिए. हमने पैसा दिया है, एज ए बायर हम कहाँ जाए, किसके पास जाए? बिल्डर के पास जाए, गवर्नमेंट के पास जाए, या हमारे पास कोई तीसरा रास्ता है जिसपे हम उस रास्ते पे चले जाएं?
So can I answer?
All right, Raman Malik, it's a fair question. Once people have paid for water, electricity, sewage connection, the expectation is that it will come from the government. Will it come from the government?
I would love to answer this.
Yes, go ahead.
यादव जी, मेरा आपसे इतना आग्रह है और इस चैनल के माध्यम से मैं स्पष्ट रूप से बोलता हूं कि सरकार किसी के भी हितों का हनन नहीं होने देगी. सरकार तत्पर है कि किसी भी तरह, चाहे हमारे को लोन लेकर ये काम पूरे करने पड़े, हम वो भी करेंगे. लेकिन एक तथ्य जो आपको भी समझना चाहिए कि आज के दिन पे, और ये कुछ किसी और के नहीं, कैप्टन अभिमन्यु जो कि फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हैं हरियाणा के, उनके अपने वचन है, प्रेस इंटरव्यू है कि 15,000 करोड़ तक का अमाउंट इन डेवलपर्स ने अपने पास रखा हुआ है, पूरी तरीके से पे नहीं करा. एक ने अगर पे कर दिया है तो मैं वो नहीं बोलता, लेकिन अलग अलग जगह सबने रोक के रखी हुई है क्योंकि इनको इंस्टॉलमेंट्स पे देना अलाउड करा गया था हुडा गवर्नमेंट में. और उसके बाद आज के दिन में ये जो कस्टमर्स हैं, आप जैसे लोग, मेरे जैसे लोग, मैंने भी लिया हुआ है वहाँ फ्लैट, और प्लॉट लिए हुए हैं, और मैं भी ये बताता हूं क्योंकि ये उस प्लॉट के ऊपर, उस ईडीसी के ऊपर लोगों के प्लॉट भी कैंसिल करते हैं। ऐसे बहुत सारे केसेस भी अभी कोर्टों में चल रहे हैं, और ये एक सत्य है। लेकिन सरकार प्रतिबद्ध है और सरकार ये करने के लिए तत्पर है, हर पॉसिबल काम इस तरीके से। जो पहली 21 की एक आई थी मास्टर प्लानिंग, फिर 25 की आई, और देन केम द 2031 प्लानिंग, which was nothing else except a big business deal between the previous regime and the developers. Some of them may be clean, some of them may have dirty hands. I am not commenting on that, but the fact of the matter is there were apprehensions and then there were things.
All right.
Now, as of today, the government is committed to do this.
One second.
They are committed
all right,
to give
Raman
all
Malik,
infrastructure
I have Prerna Singh.
at whatever cost.
I have Prerna Singh of the Congress Party on the phone line. I also have Ramesh Menon, both who's been tracking this issue for a very long time. Prerna Singh, you heard Raman Malik just tell us that he believes that the 15,000 crore rupees that was owed to Huda from developers has actually disappeared because the previous regime had a sort of hand-in-glove situation with developers, and that's the problem we are facing with
Dwarka
Expressway.
It was a favorable agreement given to builders.
Please, Faya, I have been very carefully and patiently listening to what my respected colleague was saying. And, you know, this has been their constant excuse for not getting the work done. They have been blaming the previous government for whatever they are not able to achieve. 14.5 kilometers of that highway is complete, and only 3.5 kilometers is yet to be completed. And if the builders are not paying the money, isn't it the government's
Why was it realigned?
to get it from them? Why have they not taken any initiative in
So
the
why did you not take the money out till 2014?
What was the state government doing? What was the central government doing? And Mr. Gadkari, if on Friday he committed
That is what I'm asking.
Next 4 months the highway work would be completed, what he has been doing for last 2 years. Why he could not intervene earlier? So the problem is they themselves are not capable of doing anything, and this has been their...
I would like to answer this. She's not been listening to the bite very carefully. He said the work would start in 4 months, not completed in 4 months.
They have completely failed on all other issues. They have completely failed on price.
You must clarify as an anchor. You must clarify that the assurance from the minister is that we will get
let her finish making her point.
4 months, not completed.
Fair enough, Raman Malik. I will intervene. Let her finish making her point, please.
I really admire your skills, but please let me put my point across. So what people are expecting and is the output. Why were you not able to complete 3.5 kilometers of the stretch in last 2 years? That is what people are asking, and that is what we as a responsible opposition is asking you. If there were any loopholes, why couldn't you rectify it in last 2 years? Would you take 2 years to complete 3.5 kilometers of the stretch?
Okay, all right. So you made your point, Prerna Singh. Nitin Gadkari promised us that in 4 months the work would begin, because the challenge here has been land acquisition in particular parts along that road, which is why those 3.5 kilometers or 1.5 kilometer has not been complete. Raman Malik, go ahead, respond.
First of all, I would like to clarify, Prerna Singh probably does not have the full information on what the actual the magnanimity of this problem is, because it needs somebody who would have knowledge of real estate, how it works, to know the magnanimity of this problem. 1. 2. Nitin Gadkari ji said in 4 months we will commence the work on this. The third point, which is a very big point and which Prerna Singh must understand, that if there is a litigation which is pending in a high court, you cannot go past it. There is no way you can pass it, right, and start the work on there if you have a stay order. Third, this is 3 points. The fourth major point, why are we here? Why is 3 months, 3 kilometers of road not been able to been constructed in the last 24 odd months or 22 odd months? This is just the very reason which you guys are not ready to accept that your way of doing things, what was the need to take the alignment into an inhabited area? First of all, that area was a kacha colony, which was an unauthorized colony. So you permitted an unauthorized colony coming up, then you take the alignment to favor certain developers, that you don't take it into the barren land and you take it into a developed area. Now, if you look at that, that is what Mr. CM Manohar Khattar did, or I did, or somebody else did in 2009 and 2008. So one must understand that your misdeeds and the greed for land of your CM, who was running a private limited company with a proprietor and a partner, a proprietor in the front and the partner hidden behind, were into it. And when they are called for various inquiries, they evade it.
Okay, Raman Malik, tell me right now from where we stand, and for the benefit of all of our viewers and the 70,000 home buyers of Dwarka Expressway, what will change in the next 4 months to solve the problems of the last 8 years? So accepted that the matter was sub judice, there was litigation, it was in the High Court. We've been trying to find alternative, plots of land to award the people who will be ousted from the project right now. How will the government of Haryana achieve all of this in the next 4 months to meet the deadline commitment given by Mr. Nitin Gadkari?
See, we are going full steam ahead wherever required be. We are doing every bit of negotiations that are required, and we are trying our level best to commit and give plots to oustees. That is what the court had decided. Certain people who have their houses built on these lands which are to be acquired have to be given an extension of 6 months so that they can develop their houses in those plots which are allotted to them. That is the current scenario where we stand. That is one part of it. The second part of it is that in our portion, we have more or less attained whatever we have to. Some little portions are there. Resolutions to a lot of litigations have been attained, and they are in process of attaining whatever are left. We are doing at a backdoor channel also, the officers are talking to these people who have litigations. Furthermore, what happens on the Delhi thing, Haryana government is not responsible, but then Delhi NHAI, since it has gone to NHAI under various clauses could and will acquire the land. And probably if the land acquisition bill that we were trying to get in, probably these kind of problems would not have cropped up. But then that is something which has been left now, so let's not go on to those tracks. And as per the infrastructure is concerned, we have to take the money. We are creating a new set of norms so that we are easing some interest. We are doing something so that we give incentive to the developer so that he pays up the money ASAP. We are going to that level. So that acquires to the third part of it. The fourth part is the service of and the infrastructure. As I earlier said, even if the state government has to take a fund, loan to complete it, somehow do whatever required, needful, we are 100% committed to it. The new plans which are being drawn for the entire inhabited area of Gurgaon would include these areas of the new Gurgaon, the new Gurgaon, I must say, from sector 58 onwards to 120 or 112. And all of this area are being totally looked into.
All right. The other commitment or deadline that I want from you, perhaps by the end of this show, is we know from Mr. Gadkari when he's looking at starting work on the actual road and finishing it. I want to understand from the government of Haryana when, and from Huda, when the work will begin on the amenities of water, electricity and sewage. Ramesh Menon, I noticed a couple of wry smiles that came from your end during that entire list of promises of land acquisition, talking to litigants, incentivizing developers to make payments. Tell us what you're thinking and why you believe that this is going to be an uphill task for the government.
Two things, right? One, if you look at it very professionally and apolitically, it's not about scoring brownie points. for Gurgaon was released as early as July 2006, and it's been a 10-year journey. So there is no point in trying to say that a previous government or the government before that made a mistake. Agreed, they made a mistake. So how do we correct it? So I'm not taking positions on behalf of the Congress or the BJP. Now, let's talk about the urban debate of the Dwarka Expressway. I would like to ask the BJP nominee to kind of review the total grant or the total corpus allocated for the development of urban areas in whole of Gurgaon. You would find a huge mismatch. Politically, we are talking about almost 90-10 kind of a split. 90% kept for the rural areas, which pays political dividends, and 10% for urban, which only at best complains about it in the English media channels. Okay, let's talk about the ground situation. On the ground, let's divide the Dwarka Expressway component. One is what and one which is Delhi. Let us forget this fact that Delhi DDA can acquire land. So we in Haryana after 2020. Delhi has negotiated.
Okay, let's get those answers one by one. Ramesh Menon, I'll come back to you. I want also Navin Raheja to comment on what we've heard in terms of what the government is doing. Navin Raheja, my basic interest here is, along with the road being completed, the amenities coming in so that people can get water, electricity and sewage, which is such basic amenities for quality of life. Navin Raheja, do you think the government is going to be able to provide that, and where is the money going to come from?
Sir, we have to understand one or two things very clearly. That problem is not as simple as it is being thought of. There are still certain pockets which are under litigation, and I don't think government can do anything, even if there is money, unless that right of way is given. Unless that happens, the water and sewerage lines cannot come. But I would at the same time say one thing. If we really want solution in a time-bound manner, I had requested and suggested earlier also to create a coordination high-powered committee to sort out every little estoppel or wherever there are problems. It is not that they cannot be sorted out, but it needs a concerted coordination between number one, Huda, number two, the electricity department at Haryana, number 3 NHAI, number 4 DDA, and number 5 Delhi government has appointed two revenue officers. They also need to sit in it, and this meeting must happen every week or every fortnight. Then we can expect Dwarka Expressway and services to come in 4 months, at least starting to come in 4 months and getting finished within 1 year as is being committed. Unless that a concerted effort on weekly basis or at the most fortnightly basis coordination meetings are not held, I think it cannot be achieved. The only way is this.
Also, there is
we
a problem
on
of
our own part are trying to negotiate with farmers.
There's a problem of the 15,000 crore rupees that's not accounted for. 15,000 crore rupees that developers still owe the government of Haryana.
See,
that the government says it doesn't have. You say you've made the payments. For starting
Dwarka Expressway and allied services, there is hardly any money required now because most of the work has already been done. So as far as this problem is concerned, as I understand, being into close coordination with every department of the government trying to get services for my own projects, I know it is not the problem mainly of money. Money is hardly any problem because it is already, most of the part of the road has already been acquired. It is only 1 or 2 small portions where the compensation money has already been placed, and those 2-3 patches will not require a big amount of money to complete. All the services have already been laid. It is only a few pockets where these services have to be connected. So this only needs a very close coordination and mean business type of attitude. All these things can actually happen.
Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari to promise us that work on Dwarka Expressway will begin in the next 4 months. Now remember, we took up this issue in April this year. We first pushed for the government to notify Dwarka Expressway as a national highway, have the National Highways Authority of India take over the job. That was done. Once that was done, we've been chasing the DDA, Huda and the National Highways Authority to ask for updates on the whole project. And finally, we have the minister himself promising us that it will get done in the next 4 months, that the problems of land acquisition will be set aside. And of course, the work on the construction of the highway will begin. Several other problems still persist. The fact that Dwarka Expressway has no sewage, no water, no electricity connections, because those connections have to run through portions of land that still have not been acquired. When will all of those problems be solved? Remember, the people on your screen are 70,000 home buyers who bought homes alongside the expressway with the hope of living there, have not been able to occupy those homes because they simply don't have basic facilities. Joining me on the show, Navin Raheja, Prerna Singh from the Congress Party, Raman Malik, the BJP Spokesperson, Ramesh Menon, Director of Artist Realty, Yashesh, Yadav and Prem. Ramesh Menon, I want to understand from you, simply from a real estate market point of view, Dwarka Expressway being in limbo. I remember when this project actually came up, prices shot through the roof. People got very excited about it. Everybody wanted to know if it made sense to buy because it was suddenly close to Delhi, but it was affordable. Those prices actually have come down drastically since then. It's been very difficult to sell in that neighborhood because of the litigation that we're facing. If the government does manage to put brick and mortar on ground in 4 months, do we expect prices in Dwarka Expressway to start moving up again? What's your reading?
Not really.
Why not?
Prices are a function of demand and supply, and the perception of the buyer on the perceived rating. So in that sense, if you look at the Dwarka Expressway, Mr. Navin Raheja, who showed his project called Atharva was the first one to launch there in 2007, and it was launched at some, if I remember right, somewhere in the 2,600 to 2,700 per square feet range. From that standpoint, the last project which was launched there was about 15,000 per square. Now 15,000 or 12,000 or 10,000 looks very illogical, because if you divide the project into three components, the cost of land, the cost of construction and the amenity facilities, I think no price would what it has come out. There is no point speculating where if you one road coming up, would things change? Probably not.
Probably not. Navin Raheja, do you agree that if the road finally starts to get constructed, it won't make any difference to the price right now because there's no demand? There's no demand, we know, in the NCR region and specifically in Dwarka Expressway. So if it changes, even if we have a road constructed, it will make no difference to the pricing or the pricing movement there of capital values in Dwarka Expressway, which is prices will not go up. That's what Ramesh is telling us.
It is true that if Dwarka Expressway comes and services come, the prices of Dwarka Expressway, I agree, will at least double up, because the Dwarka Expressway location, whether from airport, whether from Delhi, whether from economic hubs, is much nearer and much faster. If the services come, the prices will actually jack up at least twice and maybe even better than Golf Course Extension Road, because this is more strategically placed if you compare with all the 5-star hotels, amenities, city life, so hospitals. Dwarka Expressway is very, very strategically placed. And number two, it will reduce the traffic on NH8 also, because maybe half the traffic will bypass the NH8 passing through Gurgaon. So this is absolutely true that this will happen like this. But unfortunately, since it is not there, we in our projects like Atharva have to supply water through tankers. For conveyance, we have provided shuttle car services so that people are not stranded. There is no local transport still available because there are no roads as such. The main roads are not well connected and no local transport is there. Then electricity also is not still being given by the government because they have yet to put in 33 kVA infrastructure in place. So these problems are there. Once this, I think, development, if this development takes place in next 6 months, the customers who have booked their Dwarka Expressway will get justification to their investment.
Raman Malik?
Till now, if you call it today, or all customers who have put in money, they are suffering. They are all suffering. Everybody is suffering.
All right, we don't have... I just want to very quickly go back to Yashesh Yadav and Prem Talwar. Yashesh Yadav ji, आपने सुना अभी गवर्नमेंट की क्या राय है कि उनका कहना है कि 4 महीने में उनका काम शुरू हो जाएगा और वो कह रहे हैं कि उसके बाद आपको जितने भी फैसिलिटीज़ चाहिए वो भी आ जाएंगे. आपका रिस्पांस क्या है? रमन मलिक जी जो बीजेपी हरियाणा के हैं वो सुन रहे हैं आपकी बात. आपका रिस्पांस क्या है? आपकी क्या उम्मीद है अभी गवर्नमेंट से?
मैं रमन जी से ये पूछना चाह रहा हूँ, जैसे उन्होंने अभी प्रॉमिस किया कि 4 महीने में काम स्टार्ट हो जाएगा और जल्दी से जल्दी एमिनिटीज़ और रोड दूसरी फैसिलिटीज़ हमें मिल जाएगी. मुझे उसमें थोड़ा सा डाउट लगता है. मुझे उसमें डाउट इसलिए लगता है, अभी नवीन जी ने भी थोड़ी देर पहले बोला था कि यहाँ पे ऑलमोस्ट सारा काम रेडी हो चुका है, कुछ अमेनिटीज बेसिक अमेनिटीज बची हुई हैं. मुझे डाउट इसलिए लगता है कि हमें ये सपना दिखाया गया था कि इसके बीच में, रोड के बीच में मेट्रो आएगी. 250 मीटर का ये रोड होगा और मेट्रो की तो बात अभी दूर है. इस द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे दिल्ली से लेके NH8 तक तकरीबन 7 या 8 फ्लाईओवर बनने हैं जिनका अभी तक ग्राउंड लेवल पे कोई काम स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है. उसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं कर रहा है, ना कोई मेट्रो की बात कर रहा है. मैं रमन जी की बात पे डाउट नहीं कर रहा हूं, ना मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि वो अचीव नहीं कर सके, लेकिन फिर मैं उनसे प्रॉमिस लेना चाहूंगा, मैं उनसे वादा लेना चाहूंगा. वो ये वादा करके जाए कि जो 4 महीने में काम स्टार्ट हो गया और वो जून 2017 में कंप्लीट हो जाएगा. तो अगर वो इस मंच पे यहाँ पे हमसे प्रॉमिस कर दे, हम बायर्स को ये आशा दिला दे कि हाँ ये 4 महीने में काम स्टार्ट होकर जून 2017 तक कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, जो कि हमें डाउट लगता है. मैं एज ए बायर कह रहा हूं कि वहां पे 7 फ्लाईओवर बनने हैं जिसका काम कोई स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है. मेट्रो का कहीं कोई नामो निशान नहीं है. जैसा कि हमें सपना दिखाया गया था कि वर्ल्ड क्लास सिटी में आप रहोगे, एक रोड बनेगा जो गुड़गांव की लाइफ लाइन कहलाया जाएगा, पर लाइफ लाइन के नाम पे हमें 6 साल से क्या मिला है, 7 साल से हम क्या देख रहे हैं, हमें नहीं पता. गवर्नमेंट कांग्रेस थी, आज बीजेपी है, कल कोई और आ जाएगी. क्या हम वेट ही करते रहेंगे?
रमन मलिक जी जवाब दे दीजिए. रमन मलिक जी,
see 2-3 things. Let me be very candid and clear here. We are already, the work is there, the back end work which is required to get the front end work activated is already happening, and we are not shirking away. We do not require any pinches to wake up because we are already running on that job. So that is one part of it. The second part of it is on the infrastructure. The infrastructure planning that was done is completely, it was shown as if the entire world is going to turn around and everything is going to happen, but that was not the factual position on paper that was being done and planned. 3, a very important part. Now, one must understand that all these infrastructures are needed to be aligned in such a manner that they are in alignment with the other infrastructure coming in, for whether it is sewage treatment, whether it is water dispensation, or whether it is water intake. All those things have to be very methodically aligned. Now the problem here is that today, where you have sold all this area, they have forgotten the very fact that this was the inundated area, or the extension of the floodment area of the Sultanpur Lake also. So now you have to create a new plan in which you are able to give a sanitation system that can take that load. Whatever we saw at that Gurgaon jam was because of mismanagement of planning and misplanning of everything. So we do not want all those things to happen again. That is one part of it. Another issue which I would like to raise from here at this time is Navin Raheja ji happens to also be a member of CREDAI, if I am not wrong. will he be able to get every member who is applied and who has a project in this area, who is a member of CREDAI, come up with a white paper stating how much they owe the EDC, how much EDC money do they owe till date?
Well, I'm sure
and when
that the
will they give it
government...
to the government?
No,
Raman
Malik, I'm sure that the government will do that themselves.
रमन जी मैं एक छोटी सी बात पूछना चाहूंगा रमन जी मैं एक छोटी सी बात पूछना चाहूंगा
one at a time. एक मिनट
मैं एक छोटा सा एक क्वेश्चन
यशेश यादव जी एक मिनट just 1 second everybody. Navin Raheja, will developers be honest about how much money that they owe Huda right now? Yes or no? Can you self-regulate?
I really cannot promise on this, because as far as I know, most of the developers on Dwarka, I'm the first one and probably the only one who delivered projects on Dwarka Expressway, and other developers are, many developers are stuck because of cash crunch also. Because of no services, developers are not getting money. Customers cannot use the properties, so they cannot pay money, and services are not there. But as far as I know,
okay, you can only speak for yourself. All right, that's fair enough.
Services which is required to be laid, I don't think that is a constraint. The main constraint is court cases and litigation which are still there and pending. The main is that if you put a coordination committee and
he's not a member of CREDAI. I don't think he's a member.
Application in the courts for fast track clearance of the cases.
Navin Raheja is a member of Naredco. He's not a member of CREDAI.
Then probably if right of ways can be given to the services.
Okay, I want a response from Prerna Singh. Prerna Singh wanted to join in and say something.
Can you tell me too that whether developers will be able to pay or not?
I just wanted to ask
whether developers will be able to pay or not. We are trying to talk to all the developers to at least
and tell how much money is spending. Why can't we just, why can't the government just start this process, and whatever money is pending, why can't government take from the builders and start this work? Why is he unnecessarily diluting the
I would love to answer this.
Okay, that's a fair enough question.
I would love to answer
this. That's a fair question. Raman Malik, the government should have in its books right now accounts that will tell you who has paid, who has not paid. All right, go ahead. Raman Malik, answer.
People who are not paying the dues.
Raman Malik.
See, the whole problem is the government, if today does this, that they take over all these special SPVs that these companies have, then who is going to be facing the liabilities and the other things, because there is a third party interest in every project. That is one aspect of it.
No, Raman
the other
Malik,
aspect of it is
the Huda should have accounts of what it has collected and what it has not collected. Huda should have an account of which developer has paid their EDC and which developer has not paid their EDC.
Otherwise, how does finance minister come with a figure of 15,000 crores?
So, you don't need the developers then to come forward and release a white paper. You have data of who owes you money.
At least...
See how
at least we have paid, please get us services.
15,000
we have paid in full, please get us services.
It cannot happen, sir. It cannot happen that just because one pocket of 12 acres or 11
we are ready
acres.
to take loan to complete this project. So what exactly?
I had very categorically said, will the builders be ready to give a white paper?
I'm sure they will be.
Prerna Singh, this is all your
Raman Malik. One second. I'm sure builders will be willing to give you a white paper, because right now what anybody wants at this point is for the Dwarka Expressway to be completed, for those amenities to be put in. Now, if you want a white paper, we will have on this channel, we will have conversations. Let me finish. You asked a question, Raman Malik. Let me finish. Let me give you an answer. Raman Malik, let me give you an answer. I will personally on this channel have conversations with both CREDAI and Naredco and get you that white paper. Will you get us amenities? Will you guarantee us that you will get us amenities of water, electricity and sewage?
We are committed to give the amenities.
By when?
We are committed to give the amenities of water, electricity.
So Mr. Malik,
as soon as this whole litigation process is over, we are going to start the process.
So all this work was stopping because there was no
we cannot override the court, can we?
That's what Mr. Malik is trying to say.
So the promises that are being made right now
No.
by Venkaiah Naidu.
See, white paper from the builders is a different issue that I picked up.
No. Raman Malik, the promises that are being made right now by the government.
But the fact of the matter remains that
the promises that are being made right now by the government saying work will begin in 4 months is subject to litigation, which means the government does not have the ability to start work in 4 months.
Yes,
it's subject to litigation in the High Court.
No. See, we have the ability wherever, whatever. See, what happens is that if a particular stretch is not, if a particular stretch is under litigation, we can always do this, that we can construct everything else and take on to that thing. But the point is that if you're committed to finish it, there is always a will and there's always a way. But if you are committed to pocket your money, then there is no way.
We're not, see, I'm only interested in when the services will be completed and how the services will be completed. Will you be able to give us an update on what the government is doing right now to solve the problem of litigation?
Is about the Dwarka Expressway work on Dwarka Expressway being starting. He is a man of his commitment. And let me also assure you this thing, that our Chief Minister is personally taking interest in this particular issue, so that as soon as possible all problems that have arisen because of misdoings should not cause harm to the public at large.
So are you giving us a commitment then that on services Huda will work as fast as it can?
Another issue which I would like to put forward to you.
Please try to...
I am committing you two things. One, Huda would work as fast as it can. A, and B, either tomorrow or day after, I will personally go and meet the Chief Administrator Huda of Gurgaon and sit down and understand with him and get back to you where all whatever has to be done and what all is the issues pertaining to these particular problems of water, sewage and electricity.
All right, Mr. Raman Malik, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time spent by our entire panel right now. Dwarka Expressway is a project that we are keeping a very, very close eye on this channel. 70,000 home buyers, the interest of 70,000 citizens like Yashesh Yadav and Prem Talwar. These are the people that we are invested in. These are the people we want to make sure get their homes with all of the basic human amenities that anyone would expect of electricity, water and sewage. We're going to push every government agency until we get answers, until we can somehow make sure that these people have their homes. My handle on Twitter is on your screen right now. You know how to get in touch with me if you want to. So is a phone number. Pick up the phone and call us. The conversation and the fight for Dwarka Expressway continues, and we will not stop until there is a valid road and valid services for all of these home buyers. Stay with Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.